read the email that Scott sent to me last night, and I found there are 7 questions. I choose 4 of them. Yeah, the first thing is something about communist countries. Make a brief title for that. So what do I feel? What is my view about this communist country? And second one is a one-child policy. I think that's very important. And the third one is something related to you, that's Chinese school. So what are the Chinese school or Chinese students and Chinese teachers in the school? And the last one, maybe we cannot go that far. That's also an important topic, I think. About the fastest growing economy in China in 30 years. Okay. Now let's get started from the first one, about communism. First of all, I don't think the country I live in and I am from, is not a communist country anymore. To be frank, I am much more a communist than those real communists, the members of the party. But I did not join the party because they are not so communism. The reason I say that is that there is a basis for communism to grow and to evolve in China. Have you ever heard of the name Confucius? So 2,000 years ago, this person we call the greatest teacher of the Chinese people. The idea he promoted is that first thing is to love people. Yeah, our Confucius. Just going to talk about it. But one of the most important philosophy in his theory is that we should look at 2 sides of everything, and it's better for us to go the middle way. Maybe I should invent a term for that, and which is made as a term for Chinese scholars for 2,000 years, and maybe that should be called a middleism. That means we will not go to any extreme. That's the best thing, best way for us to go. For example, too rich is not good, and too poor is not good. It's better for us to stay in the middle. So that comes to one of the basic philosophies for communism. Do you know where is the term communism from? Have you ever heard of the person, the German Marx? And he is also a person, I think he is also a person of great mind. His concern is about the love for all people. But maybe somebody may retort it. Distort, right? So the love for person, I think they share the common at that point. So communism, for me, my understanding of communism is to share what you have, to share your love, to share your wealth with people. As you know, another idea that is proposed by Confucius is that everybody live in the world. We are not afraid of our poor, our being poor, but what we are afraid of most is that we are not treated fair or equal. But the standard for equal or fair mostly states as the level of material things. That's not spiritual, fair or equal. So that is what I mean by this. What I want to say is that people, when we are in a group, what we want most is that we have to set a standard for everybody here in the group. We are not afraid to be the last one, but we are afraid we will not be treated equally. So that goes to the point. So here people now are trying their best to become rich, to get more money. So that is the understanding for, I think, the basic things for all people living in the world. From that point, I think we will share something in common. So that is what I'm going to say about communism and communism. And the policy of Chinese government, I think, is just to try to make everybody to become rich. I am the one who have witnessed the development of China. When 30 years ago, let me see, 35 years ago, yes, when I am 6, it's the time for me to get into the primary school. And that is the time China became what we call the open policy. Before that time, the country is quarreling, is discussing about which way should we go. Should we go to get something what we call equal for all people to equal, or should we get something more for food, for what we wear, for anything we use? At that time, I think people, it's hard for you to imagine what is the living standard of people in China. Maybe, let's see, people in the street will wear the same style of clothes. There are just two colors there in China for clothes. One is blue, dark blue. That is the color for workers. Here the workers, in the Chinese, it means industrial workers who works in the factory. Does not mean anybody who works. And another color is for the soldiers. That's green. So that's the two colors 30 years ago in every street in China. But now the colors, there are great variety of colors now in the street. The good thing for that is maybe we can try our best to make ourselves beautiful. But the good thing for that two colors is that you don't have too much desire for material things. What you want is to purchase or to, what we say is purchase knowledge, purchase something philosophical instead of physical, mental instead of physical. So there's always two sides. So, and if we want to discuss that more, maybe we should spend years to discuss that. So I want your questions for this part, and we will go on for the next topic. Okay, please. Question? Blue and green is the color. Do I make myself clear? Soldier is green, of course. No question for that?
Even when you're little, anywhere.
Not be with them. Maybe, most probably I will be soldier. Soldiers, or we say military group is always the place for hero. Is that? Any question? I found the question about communists, I still feel surprised. Maybe, what is your understanding of China? Do you think it's a communist country? What does a communism for you? Don't have freedom. And another thing? What's another? Okay, here is another point. Yes. What do you think of the term individualism? Is it a good term or something bad? Not here. Depends. Depends on what.
It's not easy to do something for a person, but it's easier to think that.
If you guys have questions, if y'all could please speak up loud in the microphone, because we are recording this, that would be super.
Individual. Yes. Alright. It depends because one person can lead something or do something by himself. So no, I guess it doesn't. I guess it doesn't depend. It's kind of harsh.
Thank you. So, if we have a literal translation of individualism in Chinese, that will totally be a bad word for you. That means selfish. So there is no such kind of term like what you mean by individualism. To my understanding, individualism for us is this. If everybody in society can keep well-being or being well, then the whole society will be well. This is my understanding to the Western society. But for people, for the Eastern, not only China, but also countries like Korea and Japan, around us, countries in Asia, I should say, what we believe is that if the group as a whole group, if the whole group is being well, and the individuals can be in a good condition. So that's a two-way. You can choose any way you like, right? From that point, we may say, if there is a hijacking in China, maybe we will sacrifice a small group for the interest of a large or a bigger group. But here in the United States, we will find we will keep if we cannot keep the profit of the individual, how can we keep the profit for the whole group, all right? So that's the different understanding. And also, one of the most important thing is that this way, we can say is the logic or the philosophy depends something on the language we speak. For Chinese people, if I say where I come from, firstly I will say I'm from China, and I will say the name of my province and the name of my city, and goes to the name of my town, the street, finally the number of my house. But here in English, we will say firstly the number of the house, the street. So that's a two-way. We will describe something from biggest to the smallest. But here in English, we will describe things from the smallest to the biggest. All right? So if you don't want to talk about that anymore, we will go to the next question. That's the one-child policy. First of all, I do hope that some of you may give your idea about that. What do you think of the one-child policy? Is this something inhuman or can anybody give me an answer for that? Would you? Firstly, the policy for Chinese is that the conditions for you to have more than one child, we do have the situation or the condition for you to have for a family to have more than one child. That is, if you are belonging to the minority group, they are altogether 56 peoples, different peoples, nationalities in China. And the largest group should be Han. We spell it as H-A-N, and we pronounce it Han, not Han. I am one of the Han people. This group of people takes almost 95% of the whole population. And another 55 just takes 5% of the population. So that if you are one of the parents, the father or the mother, is one of the 55 minority, you can have more than one child. That's the policy. And the second thing is that if the first child for the family has something, we can say disabled, and you can have the second child. That's the policy. And I noticed that some of you raised the question that why male is much more preferred, all right? This is no longer the case, firstly, I should say. Maybe in the countryside, people will take that for granted. The reason is that they need a man to keep the family name. This is the first, the tradition. And the second, men can get a share for the field. You know, in the countryside, people have their own fields to grow, to farm, to grow things. And for the female, if they marry somebody, they will go to another family. So only the male can keep the right for the family to have field to support. But this is also no longer the situation now. For me, I prefer a girl instead of a boy. Because what we Chinese people concern most is how the children, the kids, will treat their fathers and mothers, their parents. For us, we will live with our father, our mother, and grandparents all together in a big family. And one of the standards for you to be a good one, a good guy, is that how you treat your parents. There's a special term for us in Chinese which is called xiao. Maybe you can spell that as S-H-I-A-O in China pronunciation. It is a term for treat your parents or your ancestors, including your ancestors. So we call it xiao. And I think girls shows much more love to their parents than boys in China now. So what I prefer is that a girl, but unfortunately I have a boy. So, let's go back to the one-child policy. Firstly, you know the area of China, the whole area of China. The whole area of China is almost the same as the United States. But the fact is that the places for people that are suitable for people to live in only counts a quarter of the whole area. Other areas are desert, great mountains, or somewhere that people cannot live on. And the second is that there are already too many people in China now. Can you imagine just the city I live in, the area is just like Greenville. How many people are there in Greenville, you know? The population of Greenville.
City or for the whole area?
The city?
City or for the whole area? I'm sorry, for the city or for the whole area around Greenville?
I think
The
the
whole
city,
area.
whole area.
It's about a district.
300,000.
300,000.
300,000.
300,000. The same area for us to live in, we have 4 million people live in the same area. And the cars in the city I live in is more than the peoples here in this city, in this area, I mean. So, the basic knowledge for us is that if we have the same area, the same production, but it is divided to 10 times of population, what is the result? And the total population, I think, of the world now is about, let me see, 6 billion, is that right? And China, now, the whole population of China is 1 billion 5,000 million. It's a large population, right? So, 10 years, 20 years ago, Chinese government have set the policy, what we call one-child policy. Before that, in fact, people at my age, the government is encourage people to have 2 children in a family. So people at my age usually have a brother or a sister. But it seems that cannot stop the growth rate of population in China. So still now the population is keep growing. So if we have such large kind of population, we have to make much more things. What I thought here is the trees all around the area, but the province I come from is, so far as GDP is concerned, you know that, gross, what we call this, gross, what is the term for GDP, do you know that? It is a government standard for the gross production of the whole country. Okay. When we divide them to the individual person, that will become a very low rate. And so that is the reason why the government has set the policy for that. And now, the one-child policy is not enough for Chinese people. People living in the cities, they put off the age to get married. In the city, it is common that people won't marry until they are 30 or 35 now. And some of them, they prefer to be what we call, let me see, pink. Have you ever heard of this word? Do you know what does that mean? No? It means a double income, D-I-N-K. double income, no kid. People in cities may prefer that because they want to enjoy their life instead of spending most of their time raising the kids and children. Kids in the family. You know, so we can go for something about the next question. Your counterparts, your peers in China, they start their class at 7:40 in the morning and ends at 5:30 in the afternoon. Relationship, that depends on if there is a one who want to keep a relationship with you, right? Fully understand.
然后我说中国啊，他们小学的时候。
I think that should be pretty low, right? The law says for the country is that the age for marriage. Do you have a age limit for people to get married here?
Then you could be, 16 with parent permission. And then the average age supposedly in America now is moved up to 25, 26 for females.
I mean, are there any law or regulations set for that? For
The
age?
regulations, you can't get married under 16. Under 16, you can't get married. At 16, you can have parent permission. Parent permission.
There's a in China. There's an age for people to get married. That's for women. That's 20, and for men that's 22. That's the illegal age for marriage. Sorry, that's the legal age for marriage.
Okay.
Here it would probably vary by the state too. The laws for South Carolina would probably be different than like say Alabama or even
Yeah, by
Georgia.
state. Might be
Different states
different.
may have a different age.
It might be 16 or 17, depending on which state. Yeah, with parent permissions.
For China, the whole China have the same policy that you cannot get married for female. The age for marriage is 20. For male, the age is 22. And let me see about that. Something people will not be forbidden to get involved in that things like your age, but it's the reason that the parents don't want the kids to do that is it may have great influence on what called your career, the learning career in school. So that's not preferred in China.
About that.
It's still about, yes, that is the reason I want to combine the two topics together. In China, it's not easy for you to find a job if you don't have a good education, right? So for you, you can apply for, at the time when you graduate from high school, you may have different choices to get into different colleges. But here in China, there's an examination. We call it a national examination every year. Let me say it's June the 6th. June 6th. Everybody have to take the examination so that if there is a line The government will draw a line for the whole country. If you pass that line, you may have the right to get into the college. This is the first requirement for you. So there are much more tests for them to take than here in the US. That's the reason parents have to be so strict. But for me, that's different.
China schools, do they learn any other language?
This is a must. Kids become learning language from kindergarten. And for the, what we call obligatory education, kids begin to learn foreign language from grade 1. That's at the age of 6 or 7. And of course, English is the most favorite, is the most popular. And as we know, English is not only the language for USA, it's also a language for Britain. And also English has become a way for us to communicate internationally. So that's the reason. And of course, as you said, in the national examination, 3 courses are must. The first one is Chinese language, and the second one is mathematics, and the third one is English. And there are other subjects that are optional. For example, history or geography. If you want to apply for art subject, you may choose this. But if you are going to choose something, a science subject in the college, you have to take physics and chemistry. And that 2 are optional. Questions, please.
What kind of, like, Chinese have different kind of dialect, like, I have different, I have different, and you don't understand what I'm trying to say. So what is, like, national, like, everybody?
We do have a 普通话, as we say. Literally translation is what we call common speech. Yes, everybody can understand. Usually is used like broadcasting, radio, television, and to public some notice to the public, we will use this. And teachers in school are required to speak common speech. When we are giving the lectures to the students, we have to speak that language. But maybe if you are discussing dialect, that's different, right? So for those courses, for physics teacher, math teacher, for social study teachers, we have to speak the common speech. And another thing is that although different people in China may speak differently, but they write in the same way. And we have kept that tradition for 2,000 years. So that is the reason Chinese character, for students who are learning Chinese, they understand that's difficult for us. It's just like drawing pictures. These symbols are the ways for us to understand each other. People live in her province, if they speak the local dialect, it's much more difficult for me than English. It's quite a different language. The difference between these languages, just like the difference between French and French, Spanish, and English. When the oral form is concerned, the written form keeps the same. if they are learning English, I think they must learn something about USA, right? Because language is, when you are learning the language, in fact, you are learning also the culture of the country. The USA and Great Britain, or even Australia, the ways of living, the social construction, the social style, all these things are learning in our courses. Okay. I think maybe Chinese Europeans in China may know more about you than you know about them. You think so? Anyway, I have news for you here. Anyone, if you want to take a travel to China every summer, in mid-July, there's a summer camp for you to apply for. You may have 15 days traveling to China. And one of the organizations we call Confucius Institute will support your expenses in China. What you have to pay is the international airfare. If you are interested in that, to see what the Chinese girls and boys are doing, you may take that chance. If you don't have question, let me go to the next topic. What we have is, I think I should say more about Chinese school. Students at your age, they may go to school at 7:40, they may arrive at 7:30. And we have a certain period which is called noon period. For that period, we will have a break. That's from 12 o'clock to 2 or 2:30. It depends on whether we are in the winter or in the summer. In the summer, the after session begins at 2:30. In winter, it begins at 2. And the afternoon session may end at 5 or 5:30 in the afternoon. And for people in the high school, most high school in the cities are boarding school. You have to live in the school. And that means after the supper break, you have to go back to your classroom again. From 7 to 9 o'clock, there is a night session. And you have 5 days in a week. Maybe even in a Saturday and long Sundays, the parents may take them to somewhere to get something to learn, music instrument, or more classes or extra class for writing, for mathematics, for those things they are not doing well in school. We call that supplement courses, and they have to pay them for themselves. It's a lot of money.
Why did you have to go back to school after something?
It's not have to, because if you are living in the school, the teacher should try every means to keep the students safe and quiet. So after, those students who live in the school, the boarding students, they will go back to the classroom from 7 to 9 to have a night session, and that is the time for them to learn by their own. And the teacher, there's just one teacher sitting there to watch them. Just like what we have here, the lunch detention or something like that. But it's not a punishment. is a ritual, yes. Luxury ritual, something like that. Every Monday, all the school and girls will stand in the ground of the school and say, watching the flags, the national flags, raising up and singing the song singing the national songs. And at the end of the week, we will have that flag down. So that's the session. For some schools, they do wear a uniform, but that's for all. That's not for all.
Anyways, Chinese flag, they have 5 stars, 5 yellow stars. And the big stars represent a big leader, leads the underneath people to fight battles. And then the red represents the blood and how they fight for the country, for the China. Yeah, that's basically about it. But I don't know what you think. So.
In fact, I have an explanation for us at the very beginning when we go to school. So it's a long story, not a good story. What's the explanation for that is there are 5 stars, as he said, the middle one is the biggest. That stands for the party, what we call the Communist Party. And then all other 4 stars, it stands for the population when the Communist China is established. That's in 1949. At that time, the population of China is 4 billion, but now it's 50 billion. 4 billion people are not one star. And the red color, the background color, stands for blood, because so many people have sacrificed their life for the establishment of the new China. So that is the meaning of that flag. So from that, maybe we should know something about the establishment of the new China, or the Communist China. Before that, there's another party. Do you know the name of another party in China? And later on, in the year 1949, they restored to the island. The island is called Taiwan. Have you ever heard of that place? And now we can say there is an independent government there. And that party, the name of that party, literally translation, that's People's Party. Something like what we have a People's Republic of China now. We call it PRC. You know the full name for China? People's Republic of China. And that party is established Let me first finish the topic I gave you right now. Here, Before that, we do have a party, and the U.S. government give a great support to that party. But have you ever heard of the name General Marshall in World War II? He has been the one to be the negotiator to try to let the two parties, the Communist Party and another party we call the People's Party, to work together. But one of them, the strongest one, the stronger one, refused that. They want to set up a country just with their own party alone. So that is the reason we have a fight. A civil war lasted almost 4 years in China after Japanese people were driven out from China. So I should say that's not good for Chinese history. So long as the long session is long term is. I think if the two parties can cooperate at that time, maybe we will have a system like here in the United States. The Republican Party and the Democratic Party, they can not watch each other. But if there's just one, there must be some problem for that. Okay, let's go.
What's the history behind the Great Wall of China?
The Great Wall is a line, is the way to defend the people in the mainland. People in the mainland, the way of their living is farming, is growing. But people who live north to the Great Wall are those people we call, what is the English term for that? It's Norman people.
Mongolian.
Norman. Great Wall. So they depend much more on the cattle, the race. So they often invade into the part, invaded the inland area. So that is the reason people built that wall, to prevent people out from that wall. But as the last emperor, one of the most famous emperor in the last dynasty of Qin, is called Prince of Qin, said that wall can never prevent invasion. The best way, so in fact, the Great Wall, militarily speaking, it didn't function as what he is proposed to function. Current leader is called, the president is called Wu Jintao. He used to be the governor of my province when I was at your age. And about his background, he's promoted from the water supply system, irrigation system. When he left school, one of the most famous school, college, university in China, Tsinghua University. And that university used to get funds from U.S. government 60 years ago. And from his background, we cannot see he's from a rich or powerful family. It's just an ordinary people. Just from ordinary family. He's from what we call is farmers family from province in the west in central China. It's just in the mountainous area. His family is not so social. What I think for him, what he pursued most is not something material. He's just something like an idealism. He has an ideal in his mind. Try to make that realized. And to my understanding, he is a very good poet. He can write poem, very good poem, romantic poem, and a very good military leader. And also, politically speaking, he has the power to attract attention, but he does not work well in the economic area. Yeah. You know who we are talking about? Have you ever heard of the name Mao? We call him Chairman Mao. You know that? So he for me is a poet, a great military leader, very passionate statesman, but not very good at economic things. That is, he failed to understand the needs of common people. What we need more is not something romantic or poetic. What we want more is something we can see, we can touch, something material. We can have we want to eat better, wear more beautiful dresses. For him, he wears very simple, and his food is very simple too.
Who chooses the president of China?
It's hard for us to do that. That is our hope. Maybe it will be, we are going to do that in the future. But now, I should say, in the election for us, it's just kind of a show or something.